All right, you dirty dong dreamers, and welcome to this edition of Koit On. Today's episode's all about humanity, and I'm going to be interviewed by
Cookie Monster! Yeah!
Koit On!
So, humanity. Please tell me where you think humanity is at. And please try to, weave as many cookie stories as you can into this answer. Yeah.
where are we at? Well, it seems as if we're really divided as a species. You know, we're not a united species. We've got the left and right politics of the Western world. We've got communism, we've got fascism, we've got socialism, we've got religions, we've got dictatorships. We've got all these lands run by, religion and power. Personally, I think we're at a very pivotal moment in humanity's history. Well, certainly in the history of this current civilization. I personally believe there's been many civilizations across Earth's time frame. But there we go, that's topic for another video for another time. And what makes me say that? Well, it just seems as if the world is getting a smaller place, what with the advent of technology, planes and the like. To get from one place to another is very, very easy nowadays. And technology, as in the internet, has brought knowledge to the masses, and everything just seems smaller. I think everything's drawing into a middle point, and I think currently we're in a very, very dangerous place where things can turn, on a dime. Things can turn good or things can turn bad. That's where I think we're at.
Not many stories about cookies in your last answer. But now, tell me what's your opinion on religion?
For me, religion is a natural state of a species development. It's a phase we must go through. And ultimately it can last a millennia. But it's something that we will phase and pass through. Religion is basically clinging on to hope, clinging on to faith, clinging on to the idea and the thought that there's something bigger than you out there and that's something that you should follow. It seems like that's inherently coded into our DNA. We must follow. But if you follow it to its logical conclusion, I think ultimately that's nature's instinct to follow your parents. That's where I think that instinct comes from. But do we as a species need to follow the writings in a book? The writings on a stone tablet? The sayings of somebody just because they said it? That is what religion is, to me. I think it's blind faith in an old story that's been mistranslated X amount of times across the years. But to what good? It doesn't seem to me like an ultimate good. I think a religion is often used as an excuse for the depravity of humanity, or the negative side of things. So you've got your corruption, power, lust, greed, all of that stuff. You've only got to look at the state of the world at the moment. There are thousands of killings in religion's name. Why? Seriously, why? Religions are spreading from east to west, from west to east. My religion is better than yours. No, my religion is better than yours. My one true God is the only God. No, he's not. Don't offend me. You know who I'm talking about there. Religion is not helping humanity. Personally, I believe that science and logic will eventually overcome religion, and basically oust the emotion of the monkey brain to the ultimate good.
Are cookies, humans inherently good?
Yes, of course. We're born into this world innocent. It's only society and our parents that dictate how we grow into it. How we're going to interact with others in the society. So if we're taught a good sense of right or wrong and not a religious sense of right and wrong, and there's a difference there, then I think we'll all get on with each other towards the common good. And you notice that I keep banging on about the common good. Well, let's be fair. If you work towards something as a group, more often than not you achieve it. So the common good is a good phrase to use. Unfortunately, though, we are easily swayed. And that's where the body comes in. You know, the body craves vices. So you've got your smoke, your drugs, your alcohol. You've got your vice, your sex. You've got your corruption. You've got your power. We've got all these things pulling us away from the common good, pulling us away from the spiritual path towards enlightenment. And I know that sounds almost religious in itself. I don't mean it like that, because I believe that there's a path for humanity. It's away from religion, but it is towards that enlightenment of a species. Knowledge. Knowledge is the true power. Honesty is another true power. Truth. For me, there's nothing better than that. But we seem to be pulled away from the truth as well. It seems as if fake news, and I know that's a big buzzword at the moment, what with it being everywhere, Trump, etc. But why are we always being lied to? It's control. And who's behind that control? Just a person with the same vices as I mentioned a minute ago. Greed, lust, power. These fake items are put out there to control other people. So are humans inherently good? Yes, I believe so. But we are corrupted along the way. But it's only through choices, the choices you make as an individual, that can put you back onto the right path, to right, to truth. Choices you make, not anyone else.
Speaking of choices, tell me what your favorite choice of cookie is.
I'm not massively into biscuits and cookies, but over the last 3 years, my girlfriend and I have been making a lot of double chocolate vanilla cookies or biscuits at home, and they are super, super lush. But if I had to have a proper choice, I would say triple chocolate cookies or biscuits for people here in the UK. They would be my favourite.
And what of science? I didn't mention cookie once.
Science and truth, wherever that may lead, must be followed, and the hard paths must not be ignored. All too often in scientific fields these days, it seems as if people who push the envelope or ask the hard questions are often ostracized because they don't fit in with the current narrative. And I think that's outrageous. If you come up with a theory and that theory leads somewhere that might offend some other people, tough, it should be followed to its conclusion. That is science. That's its very nature. You propose a theory and you do a few tests to prove or disprove that theory and then reach a conclusion. So if a number of people come up with a theory, just because it offends you does not make it not scientific. And some examples of that would be Egyptology. A number of people have put out there good theories that the Sphinx and the Great Pyramids are way older than current Egyptologists say they are. That you got that antiquity minister in Egypt. So I think his name is Zahi Hawass. Apparently a right prat, because he's just thinking all the time that no, Egypt is this way, it is this way because I think it is, and I'm going to put all the science that backs my argument with it and throw out everything else. No, good science would be to look at everything, test every theory, and then come to the more logical conclusion. If other people have got other ideas, let's look at those. Let's explore them to their final conclusion. And I think we go wrong as a species. So that's another area of corruption of the mind. We need to free the mind and allow that to take us towards the light, towards the truth. And then you've got the other side of it. So you've got the people who don't believe in science. They'll believe in their religion, and their religion trumps your science. And you've also got the people that don't believe in your science. And I know I just said that we should explore things to a logical conclusion, but you take the flat earthers as an example. A preposterous theory, and whilst I 100% agree that it should be fully investigated, it already has been for millennia. And we know that the earth is not flat. We know that. Every bit of logical, scientific investigation points towards that fact. And that's it. So let's not get wrapped up in silly non-science, because that's another avenue where humanity can go astray.
What about diversity? Cookie.
Genuinely, I don't believe that the human race is fully ready for true and full diversity. It seems as if in the last 100 years, technology has advanced to such a level that it's pushed us all together as religions, as peoples, as cultures too early, and we are not ready for it. This is borne out by wars raging across the planet as we speak. You've only got to look across the Western civilization and see the divisions between the left and the right. You know, there's division of religion across the globe. There's division of thought across the globe. We've got diversity coming out of our asses, but we are not ready for it. It seems as if in Europe, I can speak for Europe because I live there, we are being pushed together, and multiculturalism is amazing, it's bestest, but let's be fair, anyone who's truly living through it knows it isn't. And that's not through any means of racism, we are just not ready for it. If we were, and if we were all on the same page, there would be no trouble, no issues. But we're not, and so it's not working. If technology hadn't have driven at such a pace, and if our species continued to grow, and our own cultures continued to grow in their own, small pot, our own culture, if you will, if you put it down to a biology sort of level, if we had a culture of bacteria in one glass growing, and you had bacteria in another one growing, and you had a bacteria in another one growing, when they're all at the same level of development, then you could mix and you couldn't tell them apart. Do you get where I'm going with this? Then you could come together as a collective. But I think ultimately at the moment, we've got one area of our globe thinking one way. You've got another area of the globe thinking another way. Another thinking another thinking another. And we're being pushed together. But instead of us coming together cohesively, we are warring. We are battling. We are not mixing properly. And so I don't think we're ready. I don't think we are ready. It's too late for us to do this the right way now. I think the genie's out of the bottle and there's no going back. We've buggered it up, so we have to find a way of best continuing. And I come up with this sort of idea, and I know it sounds ridiculous because it probably could never be implemented, but if it did, I think the globe could go on very well. Imagine countries no longer being countries, but instead they are land masses for people with the same thoughts. So you'll have a country of people who think a certain way, and they want to live a certain way. So I'll give my example. I want to live in a country that everyone in it follows the same values, and everyone is working within law, within order, and just wants to live a nice, happy life and then die at the end of it, obviously. So I want a country or a ideological space filled with that sort of people. Then you could have people who think completely different from me, who want to live a certain way, and all the people from all over the globe that think their way, they can come together and they can go over there into whatever landmass and run their life their way. At the end of a certain period of time, you could have leaders from those ideological factions get together and logically hash out which way of thinking, most advanced the human condition. And if it was decided that this way, honestly, was for the betterment of humanity, maybe you could persuade the other factions into that. For me, that's the only way I can see humanity ever getting to a point as where we're all on the same page and we're all pushing in one direction, is to ultimately allow us to grow to that position. We're not there yet. In conclusion, whilst I sincerely believe that humanity has a great many positive traits, we can be compassionate, we can be kind to the earth and to animals, We can do all these wonderful things. We can build great things. But we also have the capacity to destroy. And not only our surroundings, but each other. So are we ready to take our next step? No. And would I think that's another reason why aliens haven't truly said hello to the world as a collective yet? Is because they know damn well we are not ready. And so that's it. That's the end of my thoughts on this topic. So until next time, please like, please share, and please subscribe to my channel. If there's anything you agree with or don't agree with, as ever, please write in the comments below. And if there's any other topics you want to cover for the future, or for me to cover in the future, should I say, please again write in the comments below. But until next time, hold on a sec. It's okay, I found it. Cough!